Captain Liam Cross had never been very good with ceremonies. Flying starships, dodging meteor storms, and negotiating trade deals came naturally to him. But formal galas with alien dignitaries always left him a little shaky. He had promised Admiral Tarek that he would represent humanity with dignity at the Veari diplomatic hub on Zerathia, and he intended to keep that promise, though right now, as he stared at the gleaming palace entrance, he wished he could teleport back to his ship. The hub itself was a marvel of interstellar collaboration. Domed towers floated above the planet's surface, linked by translucent walkways glowing faintly in alien colors. Traders and diplomats from countless worlds bustled through the streets, some haggling over goods, others delivering messages or exchanging greetings in languages Liam didn't even know existed. He adjusted his uniform nervously, straightened his tie, and stepped through the palace doors. Inside, the main hall was breathtaking. A high ceiling shimmered with floating lights that shifted color as the crowd moved beneath them. Holographic banners of alien symbols danced above the guests. Liam's human eyes widened. He had prepared speeches and greetings, but none of that seemed relevant here. Remember, Admiral Tarek had said before he left, the Veari are precise. Watch their customs carefully. One wrong word and you could insult a queen. Now Liam wished he had paid closer attention. The hall was already full, and a tall, elegant figure moved through the crowd that made everything else fade into the background. Queen Lyra of the Veari. She carried herself with the kind of grace humans could only admire from a distance. Her iridescent skin reflected the hall's colors, her eyes a deep violet that seemed to pierce through Liam as she glanced in his direction. Liam swallowed hard and stepped forward as a court official approached. Captain Cross, the official said in careful basic universal. The Queen is honored to have a human representative tonight. Please follow me for the welcoming ritual. Rituals were not Liam's strong suit. He nodded, trying to seem confident, and followed the official. They reached a raised platform where Queen Lyra stood, her hands clasped in a gesture Liam vaguely remembered from his cultural briefing. Welcome. Captain Cross, she said, her voice melodic and commanding. Human presence is rare in our diplomatic halls. It is appreciated. Thank you, Your Majesty, Liam said, bowing awkwardly. The official nudged him forward. You must participate in the Veari ceremony. Liam nodded, trying to recall the briefing. Right, the Veari. Bonding words? He cleared his throat. I am honored to be here, and I pledge to uphold respect and unity between humans and the Veari. There was a pause. Liam's words seemed safe enough, but then Queen Lyra tilted her head, her expression curious. In your language, she said, these words resemble a commitment vow. A proposal of union, Liam froze. Wait, what? Her lips curved slightly. Yes, you have declared yourself bound to me in partnership for life. Is this your intent, human? No, oh no. Liam's face turned red. I didn't mean that. But Queen Lyra smiled. It was not a mocking smile. It was intrigued, amused, and commanding all at once. Interesting. Most humans are too cautious to speak boldly. You, however, speak carelessly, yet with honesty. I accept your accidental proposal, the hall gasped. Diplomats whispered, and Liam's stomach dropped. He opened his mouth to clarify, but the Queen raised a hand. We will discuss the meaning of your words later. For now, the ceremony continues. Liam's knees felt weak. He glanced at the court official, who nodded politely but with the faintest trace of sympathy. There was no escaping this. The ceremony proceeded with strange, beautiful traditions. Liam followed instructions as best he could, bowing, placing a hand on a glowing crystal, and repeating phrases he barely understood. Every movement felt exaggerated, every word potentially catastrophic. Yet Queen Lyra's steady gaze never wavered, and her calm presence somehow kept him from completely freezing. When the ritual ended, the Queen gestured to him. You have completed the Veari bonding rite. Let this mark the beginning of an important alliance. Alliance? Liam asked. Yes, of course, alliance, absolutely. He forced a smile. Not, marriage. The Queen raised an elegant eyebrow. In Veari culture, the two are linked. You have volunteered for this connection. Do you accept responsibility, human? Liam gulped. He could feel all the eyes in the hall on him, humans and aliens alike. I accept responsibility for, diplomacy? The Queen nodded and the crowd applauded. Liam's heart raced. This was nothing like any diplomatic event he had trained for. He had accidentally made a personal commitment that could have massive political consequences. Later, as the banquet began, Liam sat near the Queen, trying to regain some composure. The food was strange but edible, glowing softly and emitting scents that reminded him of nothing on earth. Waiters hovered with floating trays, offering delicacies he didn't recognize. All the while, Queen Lyra observed him with curiosity, occasionally commenting on human ways with a mixture of amusement and analysis. "You are unlike any human I have met, Captain Cross," she said quietly. "Most are careful, calculating, fearful of making mistakes. You speak openly, even when uncertain. That is refreshing." Thank you, Your Majesty," Liam stammered. "I didn't mean to, well, anything." She smiled again faintly. "Accidents often reveal truths, Captain. Perhaps this proposal is not as meaningless as you think." Liam swallowed hard. He had no idea what she meant. But the Queen's approval, or lack of outrage, was a relief. At least she wasn't angry. Still, the banquet was full of challenges. Other diplomats whispered behind his back. Some looked skeptical, others amused. He caught a Veyari noble smirking and whispering, clearly betting on how long Liam could survive the evening without committing another faux pas. A minor crisis erupted when a rival alien envoy attempted to manipulate the ritual for political gain, claiming Liam's words could force a premature alliance. The Queen's advisors began murmuring anxiously, but Queen Lyra's calm voice cut through. "The human has spoken. Let us hear him explain in his own words." Liam blinked. "Explain? Yes. I mean, I didn't propose in the human sense. It was an accident. I respect you and your culture, but I'm not, married to anyone." "Not yet, anyway." There was a pause. Then the Queen laughed softly, a sound like music over water. "Very well. You are clever enough to clarify your intent. And yet you have shown courage by standing before us openly. This is admirable." The tension in the hall eased. Liam exhaled, realizing he had survived the first challenge. He even managed a shaky smile. Perhaps humans could navigate alien politics after all, though he doubted he would ever forget this night. By the time the banquet ended, Liam had made a small but meaningful connection with Queen Lyra. They spoke quietly about human and Veyari customs, their conversation a mix of humor and mutual curiosity. She asked about Earth, his life as a pilot, and the strange habits of his species. In return, Liam learned about the Veyari homeworld, their long history and their cautious approach to alliances. Despite the initial disaster, a spark of understanding had begun. Liam realized that this accidental proposal might not be entirely negative. If he could navigate the following days carefully, he might turn this mistake into a bridge between humans and the Veyari Empire, a bridge strong enough to survive any political turbulence. As he finally left the palace, tired but strangely exhilarated, Liam couldn't stop thinking about Queen Lyra's words. Accidents often reveal truths. Perhaps, he reflected, the truth she had seen in him was exactly what humans could offer the galaxy. Courage, honesty, and a willingness to act even in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. He looked up at the stars above Zerathia and felt a renewed sense of purpose. One accidental proposal had changed his life and potentially the future of human-alien relations forever. Captain Liam Cross arrived on the Veyari homeworld with a mixture of awe and nervousness. The planet was a sight to behold. Towering crystalline structures rose from the ground like giant gemstones, and rivers of light flowed through the valleys, glowing softly in shades of blue and gold. Alien flora with translucent leaves swayed gently in the wind, and the air hummed faintly with an energy that felt alive. Liam had seen many planets in his career, but the Veyari capital city was unlike anything he had imagined. He was greeted by Queen Lyra herself at the landing platform. She moved with the same graceful authority he had witnessed during the accidental proposal, yet there was warmth in her smile now, a sign of curiosity rather than judgment. "Welcome to Veyara, Captain Cross," she said. "I trust your journey was without incident." "Safe and smooth, Your Majesty," Liam replied, bowing slightly. He reminded himself not to fumble again. "It's incredible here. I've never seen anything like it." Lyra's eyes twinkled faintly. "It is our home. I hope you will learn much during your stay. There are customs, rituals, and practices you must observe. And of course," she added with a faint smile, "you must honor your commitment." Liam winced inwardly. Yes, of course, commitment. He forced a smile, hoping the Queen understood that he was still learning. The palace was enormous, a combination of organic architecture and advanced technology. Rooms and corridors seemed to flow naturally from one to another, as though the building itself were alive. The walls shimmered with soft, changing colors, and light responded to movement, highlighting Liam's path as if the palace welcomed him personally. He was led to a guest chamber, where he could rest before the formal audience with the Queen. He sank into a comfortable chair, letting out a deep breath. Accidental proposal, he muttered to himself. How did I survive that? And now I'm expected to behave like this was intentional. When Lyra arrived for the audience, Liam stood, brushing off imaginary dust from his uniform. She gestured for him to sit beside her on a low, smooth bench that seemed carved from a single piece of luminous crystal. The humans are different from most species we encounter, Lyra said thoughtfully. You speak openly. You act impulsively. Yet there is strength in that. It is why I accepted your words without hesitation. Liam blinked. I didn't think it mattered. I wasn't trying to, well, it was an accident. Perhaps, she replied. But accidents reveal character, Captain. You showed courage, honesty, and humility. These qualities are rare. Liam felt a flush of pride even as he reminded himself not to let it go to his head. Thank you, Your Majesty. I'll try to, not make any more mistakes. Lyra's laughter was soft, melodic. You will. But even if you do, humans have a way of surprising us in useful ways. Over the following days, Liam was introduced to Veyari customs and traditions. He participated in ceremonial practices, observed diplomatic sessions, and even helped navigate minor technical issues with Veyari starships, using his human ingenuity in ways the Queen found fascinating. His ideas were practical and creative, solving problems that Veyari engineers had been struggling with for weeks. One evening, Lyra invited him to explore the palace gardens. The gardens were a wonder, with bioluminescent plants, floating water features, and pathways that seemed to move as one walked along them. Why did you accept me? Liam asked cautiously, curious about the Queen's thoughts. Was it really because of my words? Lyra considered him, her gaze thoughtful. Partially. Your words showed bravery, but also humans are unpredictable. That unpredictability is useful. You see what others overlook and you act without waiting for perfect certainty. That is valuable. Liam nodded slowly. I never thought of it that way. I usually just react. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You adapt, Lyra said, her eyes meeting his. And adaptation is the key to survival. You have survived where others would have failed. That is why I accepted your proposal. Not out of whim, but because I see potential in you. Before Liam could respond, the palace alarm sounded. A low, resonant hum that vibrated through the crystal floors. Lights shifted to a warning red. Lyra's expression hardened instantly. Captain Cross, we have a situation, she said. A rival faction within the Veyari has attempted to manipulate the recent ceremony to create political instability. They seek to exploit your words to force an early alliance with humans, one that could destabilize interstellar relations. Liam's pulse quickened. What can I do to help? Lyra gestured to a holographic map of the city and the surrounding territory. Your insight as a human strategist may help us anticipate their moves. And your skills with ships could be decisive if the confrontation turns physical. For the next several hours, Liam worked alongside the Queen and her advisors. He analyzed movement patterns, suggested strategies for non-lethal interception, and helped coordinate defensive measures. The rival faction attempted to spread misinformation among Veyari nobles, but Liam's quick thinking allowed them to counteract it before panic could spread. When the confrontation reached the palace gates, Liam took control of a small transport vessel. Using maneuvers he had perfected as a pilot, he intercepted a squadron attempting to breach the capital. His human ingenuity, thinking outside the rigid Veyari protocols, confused the attackers, giving Lyra's forces the upper hand. By the end of the night, the rival faction was contained and the capital was safe. Lyra's expression, previously calm but tense, softened into genuine admiration. You acted bravely, Captain Cross, she said. Your human perspective saved Veyara tonight. It is proof that the bond we began, accidental as it was, holds real potential. Liam shook his head in disbelief. I just did what any pilot would do in a crisis. Not any pilot, Lyra replied. A human pilot who understands responsibility, trust, and courage. That is rarer than you realize. The following days were quieter but no less significant. Liam continued to learn about Veyari culture, sharing human knowledge, humor, and experience with Lyra and her advisors. They discussed ethics, governance, and even art, finding similarities in human and Veyari values despite the vast differences in biology and history. During a ceremonial dinner, Lyra spoke privately with him. "Captain Cross, the humans are remarkable. I see wisdom, bravery, and ingenuity in your species. You have proven that accidents can lead to meaningful outcomes, that courage can forge alliances. I trust you more than I do most Veyari diplomats." Liam felt a surge of pride, tempered by humility. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I never expected to come here and be part of anything like this. It's more than I ever imagined." Lyra smiled. "Sometimes the universe places individuals where they are needed, even through accidents. Perhaps the galaxy has a way of guiding humans to be more influential than they realize." Weeks passed, and Liam's bond with Lyra deepened. Not romantic, at least not yet, but built on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. The accidental proposal had opened doors, yes, but what mattered now was the work they accomplished together. Human adaptability complemented Veyari wisdom, creating a partnership that other species began to notice. By the time Liam prepared to return to his ship, he understood something vital. Being human was an asset. It was his willingness to act boldly, to speak honestly, and to solve problems creatively that had earned him respect, not only from Queen Lyra but from a civilization far more advanced than his own. As he stood on the landing platform, Lyra approached him once more. "Captain Cross, your presence has proven that humans can be trusted allies. I look forward to the future, where our species may learn from one another and face the galaxy together." "I look forward to it too, Your Majesty," Liam said, finally confident not just as a pilot, but as a representative of humanity. "And I'll try not to propose to anyone by accident again." Lyra laughed, a sound that lingered in Liam's mind like a melody. "Perhaps accidents are part of the human charm," she said. "And sometimes charm is exactly what the universe needs." As Liam's ship lifted off, he looked down at Veyara one last time. The city glowed beneath him, a symbol of beauty, intelligence, and cooperation. He realized that one small mistake, the accidental proposal, had led to something far greater: understanding, trust, and the possibility of a lasting alliance. Humans were not perfect. They were impulsive, sometimes clumsy, and often underestimated. But as Liam stared at the stars ahead, he knew something important. Humans could rise to challenges, bridge differences, and leave a mark on the galaxy in ways no one expected. The accidental proposal had been the beginning of an extraordinary journey. And for Captain Liam Cross, it was only the start.